Good morning everyone and welcome to this new video of chemistry. I hope that you all are fit and fine during this pandemic period of COVID-19. So in the last video, we already discussed that the particles in solids are closely packed and less in liquids and gases. And today, here we discuss the particles of matter have the intermolecular attraction, change of state of matter and interconversion of matter. So let's start that the particles of matter have intermolecular attraction. That means there is a force in between the particles. Here you can see that a figure is there and two petri dishes are there. You have to put some globules of mercury, that means few drops of mercury in the first petri dish. Okay, as we know that mercury is liquid at room temperature. So when you put in the second and after second the petri dish, you have to find out that, or you have to observe that the mercury globules become bigger in size. So what is the reason why the globules of mercury become bigger? Because there is a force of attraction between the particles of matter. That means there is a force in between the particles which will be attract with each other. So when you put that mercury of globules and when you check, that means the particles of matter exist the force and they become attract with each other and form a big globule. So what we conclude that here? We conclude that a force of attraction exists between the particles of matter. So now let's move on our next topic, that is states of matter. As we know that the three states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas, as you can see from the figure. So how can you differentiate between the solid, liquid and gas? Already we discussed that in solids the particles are closely packed and in liquids they are less closely packed and in gases they are far from each other. That means from the figure you can see that in solids the particles are, see, they are very closely packed. That means there is no space in between the particles. So they cannot be moved. Only they will vibrate in their main position. Whereas in liquids, they have little space in between the particle. So they can be moved inside the container where you will be kept. But in gases, they are far from each other. So, they can move freely in all directions. So these are the difference in between the solid, liquid and gases. But this state of matter can be changed by change in temperature and pressure. Okay, that means, and this is known as what? Interconversion of a matter. So now we discuss thus what is interconversion of a matter. So interconversion matter, that means it is the phenomenon of change from one state to other and then back to the original state is called interconversion of state of matter. That means for example, see, solid to liquid, liquid to gas and again come back gas to liquid or liquid to solid. That change of state, okay, that change of state is known as what? Interconversion of matter. And this change of matter from one state to another is done by changing in temperature or pressure. That means by changing in temperature, solid will be changed into liquid or liquid will be changed into gas. And like this, vice versa. That means when you condense and when you increase the pressure, that means the gases will be converted into liquid and liquid will be converted into solid. So this conversion or this change of state from one state to another state and again come back to its original state, that phenomenon is known as interconversion of matter. From the diagram you can find out that here. From that means when you give the temperature to solid state, okay, it will be converted into liquid state and liquid will be converted into gaseous state, and again when you cool it, the gases will be converted into liquid state and liquid will be converted into solid state. For example, you can see that ice cube, okay, that means ice. When you give the temperature or when you will be take out the ice cube from the freezer, what happen? It get the temperature and it will be converted into liquid state. and again when you will be give the temperature, the water will be converted into gaseous state. That means it will be converted into vapor. But again when you will be decrease the temperature or increase the pressure or you cool it, the vapor will be converted into again water. That means it converted into liquid state. And after that when you cool it, okay, and when you condense, the water will be converted into ice cube again. So this phenomenon is known as interconversion of a matter. Next, so when solid will be changes into liquid state, okay, that means the conversion of a substance on heating from solid state to liquid state, okay, that is known as what? Melting. Remember that the conversion of a substance on heating from solid state to liquid state, that means when you give the temperature to solid, it will be converted into liquid state, okay, and that is known as melting, or you can say that fusion. From the diagram you can find out solid state to liquid state, that is known as melting or fusion. So during this when you give the temperature to solid, what happen? That means it get the temperature, and that time what happen? It gain the energy. Why it will be converted into liquid? When you give the temperature to solid, remember when you give the temperature to solid, okay, the solid will be get energy. That means it gain energy. And you know that in solid what happen? The particles are very closely packed. So there is no space. So they starts to vibrate in their own position. That means mean position. And over the force will be gain, and they will be overcome to that another particles and converted into liquid state. So what you find? The conversion of a substance on heating from solid state to liquid state is called as melting or fusion. Now, what is melting point? Melting point means it is the fixed temperature at which a solid changes into a liquid. Okay, that means the fixed temperature in which the solid will be changed into liquid state. For example, ice to water. Okay, ice to water. That means at the fixed temperature, ice will be converted into water. And remember, that means ice will be melt to water. So, what is the fixed temperature? That means at 0 degree Celsius. The melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. That means that ice will be converted into water at 0 degree Celsius. So, a substance exists in the solid state, that means below 0 degree Celsius. Okay. That means what is the melting point of ice? Melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. And in liquid state, that is above. Means when above 0 degree Celsius, the ice will be converted into water. So, what you find? That means it is the fixed temperature. Melting point is the fixed temperature in which solid will change into liquid state. And one thing you remember from the figure you can find out, see, solid will be changes into liquid at 0 degree Celsius. That means above 0 degree Celsius, the solid will be converted into water, and below water will be converted into ice. So, the melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. And what is melting point? Melting point is the fixed temperature at which a solid changes into liquid state. From the figure you can find out solid will be changes when you give the temperature, okay, at 0 degree Celsius, above 0 degree melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. The next one, see, now ice will be converted into water. The next, when you give the temperature, what happen? The liquid will be start to vaporize. Okay, the liquid will be start to vaporize. That means the conversion of a substance on heating from liquid state to vapor state. As you clear that, see, from liquid state to the substance will be converted from liquid state to what? Gaseous state. That is known as what? Vaporization. And what is boiling point? Boiling point means the fixed temperature at which a liquid will be changes into vapor. And remember that boiling point means what? Water. And the boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius. So, what is the boiling point of water? 100 degree Celsius. At 100 degree Celsius, the liquid will be start to vaporize. Okay, that is known as what? Boiling point. So the fixed temperature of boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. That means at 100 degrees Celsius the water will be start to vaporize, and that is known as what? Boiling point. And the next is liquefaction or condensation. Okay, so liquefaction is the conversion of a substance on cooling from vapor state to liquid state. I already told you that means what? The matter will be changed from one state to another state by change in temperature or pressure. So when you give the temperature, solid will convert it into liquid and liquid will convert it into gases. And like this, when you cool it or when you condense, the vapor will be converted into liquid state. And this conversion of substance from vapor to liquid state, okay, that is known as what? Liquefaction, or you can say that condensation. And like that only, what is condensation point? Condensation point means it is the fixed temperature at which the vapor will be changes into liquid. Clear? That means the fixed temperature in which vapor will be converted into liquid state is known as what? Condensation point. And next one, see, solidification. Solidification means the process in which the substance on cooling from liquid state to solid state, or you can say that what? Freezing. That means when you cool it, the water will be converted into ice. That means the liquid state will be converted into solid state. That is known as what? Solidification, or you can say that it is freezing. So freezing is the process in which liquid will be converted into solid state. How it is possible? When you cool it. When you condense it, liquid will be converted into solid state, and that is known as solidification, or you can say that freezing. And what do you mean by freezing point? Freezing point means the process in which, that means it is the fixed temperature in which the liquid will be changes into solid state. When the liquid will be changes into solid state at a fixed temperature, and that is known as what? Freezing point. So freezing means the conversion of substance on cooling from liquid state to solid state. And what is freezing point? Freezing point means the fixed temperature at which a liquid changes into solid state. And from the figure you can find out that it is sublimation. What is sublimation? Sublimation means the process in which solid will directly changes to gas. Okay, that is known as sublimation. That means when a solid directly changes into gas without melting is known as sublimation. And like this also it come back. That means when gas will directly converted into solid, that is known as deposition. Remember, when the solid get temperature, it directly converted into gas, okay, without melting, that is known as sublimation. And like this, when you cool it, the gas will be directly converted into solid without melting, that is known as what? Deposition. So these are some terms that related to that interconversion of state of matter. Finally, I request to all the students, stay at home and be safe. Thank you.